Choosing yourself is not selfish, it is revolutionary. It is the moment you stop bending to the expectations, judgments, and emotional needs of everyone else. It is when you realize that your life is your responsibility and that the energy you give to yourself first determines the quality of everything else you experience. Too long, many of us have placed our own desires, dreams, and peace on the back burner, believing that serving others first is virtue. But the truth is, when you do not honor your own soul, you deplete the very essence that allows you to love, give, and show up fully. The first thing that happens when you choose yourself is clarity. Suddenly, the fog lifts. You see the people, the habits, and the beliefs that no longer serve you with stark honesty. You begin to recognize where you've been settling for less than you deserve, and you start to feel the power of saying no without guilt. Saying no is not rejection. It is affirmation of your own worth. Next, choosing yourself ignites boundaries that protect your energy. Boundaries are not walls, they are declarations. They are a statement to the world that your time, your energy, and your heart are precious. When you enforce them, you no longer allow emotional leeches, toxic people, or draining situations to dominate your life. This is where respect starts, not just from others, but from yourself. A profound transformation occurs internally. Your confidence rises not from validation, but from alignment. You no longer chase approval, because your approval of yourself is sufficient. You become magnetic, not because you are trying to impress, but because you radiate self-possession and authenticity. People are drawn to the energy of someone who is unapologetically aligned with their own soul. Choosing yourself also unlocks freedom. Freedom from fear, from obligation, and from the subtle prison of what will they think. Your decisions are guided by your intuition, your dreams, and your joy. The world may push back, the critics may scoff, but you move with an unshakable sovereignty over your own life. Lastly, when you choose yourself above all, you awaken your true potential. You finally realize that your greatest contributions to others come from a place of fullness, not depletion. The love, the wisdom, and the gifts you offer are no longer sacrifices, they are expressions of abundance. Your life begins to reflect the reality that when you honor yourself first, everything else aligns in extraordinary ways. This is not an act of arrogance, it is an act of courage. Choosing yourself is choosing life, choosing joy, and choosing the highest expression of who you were always meant to be. Today, step into yourself fully. Say yes to your desires, your dreams, and your boundaries. The world doesn't just need you, it needs the real, unapologetic sovereign you. Clarity through self-priority begins the moment you make a conscious choice to put yourself first, not in arrogance or selfishness, but in recognition of your own value. For too long, many people live their lives reacting to the expectations, desires, and judgments of others, believing that their own needs are secondary or even wrong to acknowledge. This constant outward focus creates confusion, a fog where decisions feel heavy, desires feel distant, and the path forward seems murky. When you choose yourself, a profound shift occurs. Suddenly, you are no longer navigating life through the lens of what others want or what society deems acceptable. Instead, you start to see clearly which relationships, environments, and routines nurture you and which drain you. Every choice becomes filtered through a lens of personal alignment, and with that filtering comes clarity, a clarity that is liberating, invigorating, and transformative. This clarity reveals patterns that were previously invisible. You begin to notice moments when you unconsciously conform, said yes when you wanted to say no, or sacrificed your peace for temporary approval. Each realization is not a judgment, but a signal pointing you toward the areas in your life that require attention, healing, or change. Self-priority allows you to separate the noise from the signal, the obligations from the opportunities, and the illusions from the truths. You start to distinguish between what genuinely matters to you and what has been imposed upon you. This distinction is critical because it allows you to reclaim your time, energy, and emotional bandwidth, resources that are limited but infinitely valuable when properly invested. Moreover, clarity through self-priority sharpens your decision-making. When you honor your own needs and desires first, choices that once felt overwhelming or confusing suddenly become simpler. You no longer hesitate endlessly over whether to please someone or follow a socially approved path. Your compass is recalibrated, pointing unerringly toward alignment, joy, and authenticity. The fear of judgment or rejection diminishes because you have anchored your worth internally rather than seeking it externally. Clarity allows you to act with purpose rather than react to circumstance, creating a momentum that builds confidence and reinforces your sense of sovereignty over your own life. As this clarity deepens, it transforms how you see the world and yourself. You recognize that confusion and self-doubt are often the byproducts of ignoring your own voice. By listening to yourself, prioritizing your own growth, and setting boundaries around what you will and will not accept, you cultivate a mental and emotional landscape where peace, focus, and direction flourish. Your energy is no longer scattered across endless obligations and misplaced priorities. It is concentrated, intentional, and vibrant. This clarity is not an endpoint. It is a dynamic, living process that continually refines itself as you grow. But its presence is immediate and undeniable the moment you commit to putting yourself first. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define your personal space, energy, and emotional capacity. They are not meant to isolate you or push others away, but to protect the very essence of who you are. For too long, many people live without clear boundaries, constantly stretching themselves thin to meet the demands, expectations, or whims of others. This overextension creates exhaustion, resentment, and a gradual erosion of self-worth. When you choose to set boundaries, you are making a radical declaration. Your time, your energy, and your emotions are valuable, and they will not be sacrificed on autopilot to satisfy anyone else's agenda. Boundaries are a form of self-respect, a non-negotiable agreement between yourself and your own well-being. The power of boundaries lies in their ability to create clarity about what is acceptable and what is not. Without them, you are at the mercy of external influences, allowing other people's moods, opinions, and priorities to dictate your own. Setting boundaries teaches others how to treat you, but even more importantly, it teaches yourself how to honor your own limits. Saying no is not rejection, it is affirmation. It is a conscious act of choosing your peace, your energy, and your life first. Every time you enforce a boundary, you reinforce your internal authority, sending a message that you are responsible for your own well-being and will not allow others to compromise it. Boundaries also protect you from emotional depletion. Many people unknowingly allow energy vampires into their lives, people or situations that drain them emotionally without giving anything in return. This often happens because of fear of conflict, fear of judgment, or fear of being disliked. But every time you ignore your own limits to please someone else, you pay a price in your vitality, focus, and happiness. Establishing and maintaining boundaries is an act of courage that shields you from unnecessary stress, anxiety, and distraction. It creates space for you to recharge, prioritize your goals, and show up fully in areas of your life that truly matter. Furthermore, boundaries cultivate respect from yourself and from others. When you consistently honor your own limits, people learn that your time and energy are not disposable. They begin to recognize your value and treat your presence as precious rather than taken for granted. This does not mean that everyone will like your boundaries, but those who respect you will naturally gravitate toward the clarity and integrity you embody. Boundaries also deepen your relationships because they allow connections to exist out of choice rather than obligation. Interactions become more authentic, meaningful, and balanced rather than one-sided or draining. Ultimately, boundaries are not constraints, they are liberation. They free you from the unconscious patterns of people-pleasing and overcommitment. They allow you to direct your energy where it matters most, toward your growth, your passions, and your joy. When you protect your energy through boundaries, you reclaim control over your life. You no longer give away your power to the whims, opinions, or expectations of others. Instead, you operate from a place of sovereignty, clarity, and intentionality. Boundaries are the foundation upon which every empowered, fulfilled, and self-directed life is built. And once you embrace them, you will experience the profound freedom that comes from valuing yourself above all else. Confidence through alignment is the deep, unshakable certainty that arises when your actions, choices, and beliefs are fully in harmony with your true self. Many people live with a constant tension between who they are and who they think they should be, and this misalignment breeds self-doubt, hesitation, and insecurity. You may have all the external markers of success, money, recognition, relationships, but if your life is not aligned with your inner truth, confidence will always feel fragile, conditional, or performative. True confidence is not about pretending to be strong or impressive. It is about stepping into your authenticity and trusting that your unique essence is enough. Alignment is the bridge between who you are at your core and how you show up in the world. And it is within this bridge that real confidence is born. When you align with yourself, you stop living to meet the expectations of others. You no longer chase validation, approval, or recognition from people who cannot see your full value. Every decision becomes a reflection of your priorities, your values, and your intuition. This clarity removes the internal friction that often causes anxiety, second guessing, and overthinking. You act not out of fear, obligation, or social pressure, but out of understanding and conviction. The moment you start living in alignment, you feel a sense of integrity that is palpable. Others notice it too, because there is a magnetic quality to someone whose inner life and outward life are consistent. They exude self-possession and certainty without needing to prove anything. Alignment also fosters resilience. When you are rooted in your truth, external circumstances cannot easily shake your confidence. Challenges, setbacks, and criticism still occur, but they no longer define your self-worth or derail your path. Aligned confidence is steady because it does not rely on fleeting opinions, achievements, or external validation. It relies on the unwavering knowledge that you are living authentically and that your value does not depend on anyone else's perception of you. This allows you to navigate life with grace, courage, and decisiveness, making choices that reflect your desires rather than avoiding discomfort or conflict. Furthermore, confidence through alignment inspires others. People are drawn to authenticity. They can sense when someone is in integrity with themselves versus when they are performing or conforming. By showing up aligned, you set a standard, not by demanding it, simply by living it. Your clarity, decisiveness, and self-trust create an energy that encourages others to respect you, listen to you, and even reflect on their own alignment. You no longer need to push, convince, or compete. Your presence communicates strength, self-possession, and authenticity in a way that words alone cannot. Ultimately, confidence through alignment is not about perfection or external accomplishments. It is about consistency, honesty, and courage. It is about choosing daily to honor your instincts, values, and priorities, and letting your life be an accurate reflection of your inner truth. This confidence is liberating, empowering, and magnetic. When you operate from alignment, you stop questioning your worth, comparing yourself to others, or living in fear of judgment. You simply exist in your power, your authenticity, and your sovereignty, and the world naturally responds to the energy of someone who is whole, complete, and unapologetically themselves. Magnetism of authenticity is the natural force that draws people, opportunities, and experiences towards someone who fully embodies who they are. It is not manufactured charm, forced charisma, or superficial confidence. It is the quiet, undeniable energy that radiates from a person living in alignment with their truth. Many people spend their lives trying to fit into molds, imitate others, or present versions of themselves they think will be accepted. In doing so, they dilute their essence and scatter their energy. Authenticity, on the other hand, is a declaration of presence. It signals that you are complete, grounded, and unapologetic in your uniqueness. This energy cannot be faked, and the world instinctively recognizes it. People are naturally drawn to authenticity because it resonates on a deeper level. It feels safe, magnetic, and inspiring. When you live authentically, you stop hiding your opinions, desires, and emotions behind masks designed to please or impress others. You express yourself fully without fear of judgment because your sense of worth is no longer dependent on external validation. This honesty creates a powerful resonance that attracts like-minded people and repels energy that is not aligned with your values. Authenticity acts as a filter, ensuring that your relationships, collaborations, and experiences are genuine and meaningful. The energy you emit when you are authentic communicates confidence, self-respect, and clarity, and it has a gravitational effect that draws the right people and opportunities into your life effortlessly. The magnetism of authenticity also stems from self-possession. When you know who you are, what you want, and what you will not tolerate, you carry yourself with a quiet authority. You no longer seek approval because you have already given it to yourself. This internal sovereignty is captivating. Others sense it, whether consciously or unconsciously, and it inspires respect, admiration, and curiosity. Authenticity is not about being loud or demanding attention. It is about being present, aligned, and consistent. The power lies in the energy you radiate, the unspoken understanding that you are whole, complete, and operating from a place of integrity. Moreover, authenticity fosters deep connection. When you show up as yourself, people feel safe to do the same. Conversations become more meaningful, collaborations more productive, and relationships more fulfilling. Your energy communicates trust, honesty, and depth, which encourages others to engage with you on a level that goes beyond surface interactions. By living authentically, you attract not only admiration, but genuine loyalty, respect, and love, because the connections that form are based on reality rather than illusion. Ultimately, the magnetism of authenticity is not about external validation or impressing others. It is about embodying your true self and living in alignment with your values, desires, and essence. It is the energy of someone who does not apologize for existing fully, who is confident in their own skin, and who allows their unique light to shine without compromise. This magnetism transforms your life because it shifts the way the world responds to you. People, opportunities, and experiences naturally gravitate toward the authenticity you radiate, and you begin to experience life in a way that is effortless, abundant, and deeply fulfilling. Freedom from external expectations is the liberation that comes when you no longer allow the opinions, judgments, or demands of others to dictate your choices or define your self-worth. For much of life, many people unconsciously live under invisible scripts written by family, society, culture, or peers. These scripts tell you how to behave, what to prioritize, and even who you should be. Living according to these expectations creates a subtle but constant tension within your mind and body. You may achieve accomplishments, gain recognition, or meet others' approval, yet still feel empty, restless, or disconnected from yourself. True freedom arises the moment you recognize that the only approval that truly matters is your own, and that your life is meant to be a reflection of your authentic desires rather than a checklist imposed by someone else. When you release yourself from external expectations, a profound sense of empowerment emerges. Choices that once felt heavy with pressure or obligation suddenly become easier because they are guided by your inner compass rather than the fear of criticism or rejection. You begin to act from intention instead of habit, from desire instead of duty. This freedom allows you to explore who you are, what truly excites you, and what aligns with your values without worrying about whether it fits into anyone else's version of acceptable or right. Every decision becomes a conscious declaration of independence, reinforcing your sovereignty over your own life. Freedom from external expectations also dissolves the fear of judgment. When you no longer measure yourself against the standards of others, criticism loses its power over you. Opinions may still exist, but they become irrelevant to your sense of self because your confidence is anchored internally. This liberation allows you to take risks, express yourself fully, and pursue your passions with courage, knowing that approval is optional and unnecessary. You become fearless in showing up as yourself because you are no longer negotiating with external pressures or the need to fit into someone else's framework. Furthermore, this freedom fosters creativity, authenticity, and growth. When your energy is not tied to meeting others' expectations, it can be directed toward exploration, experimentation, and self-expression. You discover talents, desires, and ambitions that may have been suppressed under the weight of conformity. Life becomes a personal canvas, and your choices are the brushstrokes of your unique vision. Opportunities that resonate with your soul naturally arise, while situations that drain or misalign with your purpose fall away, uh, leaving space for meaningful experiences that truly nourish you. Ultimately, freedom from external expectations is the foundation of self-mastery and inner peace. It allows you to live a life guided by your values, priorities, and intuition rather than social pressure or fear. The weight of obligation, guilt, and comparison lifts, and you step into a state of sovereignty where your energy, time, and focus belong fully to you. In this space, life transforms from a series of compromises to a journey of alignment, empowerment, and fulfillment. You begin to move through the world unshakable, confident, and unapologetically yourself, experiencing the depth of freedom that comes when your life is truly your own. Awakening true potential begins the moment you fully choose yourself above all else and commit to living in alignment with your own values, desires, and vision. Many people move through life on course, endlessly constrained by fear, self-doubt, or the invisible expectations of others. They settle for mediocrity, believing that their dreams are too big, too impractical, or not meant for them. But when you prioritize yourself, honor your inner voice, and create space for your growth, a powerful transformation occurs. Your potential, once buried beneath layers of compliance and external influence, begins to emerge with clarity and force. It is no longer a distant possibility, but a living, breathing reality within your grasp. Awakening your true potential requires courage. It demands that you confront the habits, beliefs, and patterns that have kept you small. It asks that you examine the fears that whisper limitations into your mind and challenge the voice that says, "I'm not enough," or "I can't do this." Choosing yourself means saying yes to your growth, even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. It means committing to your evolution with discipline, resilience, and unwavering self-trust. In this space, you start to see that your abilities are not defined by past failures, other people's opinions, or societal norms. They are defined by the energy and focus you bring to your own life. When you awaken your true potential, you begin to operate from a state of abundance rather than scarcity. You realize that your gifts are not finite and that the world does not limit your capacity to create, inspire, or achieve. Each step you take in alignment with yourself strengthens your confidence and expands your vision. Opportunities that once seemed unreachable become accessible because your mindset, energy, and focus are attuned to possibility rather than limitation. You move with clarity, precision, and a sense of purpose that naturally amplifies your impact on the world around you. This awakening also transforms your relationships and interactions. When you are living fully in your potential, you no longer attract situations that drain or diminish you. Instead, you draw people and experiences that resonate with your energy, challenge you to grow, and support your journey. Your presence becomes magnetic because it embodies possibility, courage, and authenticity. Others sense the power of someone who is fully expressed, and this energy inspires those around you to step into their own potential as well. Ultimately, awakening true potential is not about perfection, fame, or external achievement. It is about living fully in alignment with your purpose and embracing the unique gifts you bring to the world. It is the realization that you are capable of more than you ever imagined, that your energy, focus, and intention can create extraordinary outcomes, and that your life is a canvas for expression, impact, and transformation. By choosing yourself above all, you unlock the power within you to rise, evolve, and embody the highest version of who you were always meant to be. Your potential is not something to chase. It is something to recognize, claim, and live every single day. Choosing yourself above all is not a one-time act. It is a daily commitment, a sacred practice of honoring your worth, your desires, and your truth. when you give yourself permission to prioritize your clarity, set unshakable boundaries, align fully with your inner self, radiate authenticity, release the weight of external expectations, and awaken your true potential, your life transforms in ways you may have never imagined. You step into a space where confidence is natural, magnetism is effortless, and every choice reflects your sovereignty. The world may continue to impose pressures, opinions, and distractions, but they no longer hold power over you. Instead, you move with intention, courage, and clarity, fully present in your own life. This is the life that emerges when you finally choose yourself. A life of freedom, fulfillment, and unstoppable growth. A life where your energy is protected, your voice is honored, and your potential is no longer hidden, but fully expressed. Remember, choosing yourself is not selfish. It is the foundation for everything extraordinary to enter your life. It is the key to loving without compromise, giving without depletion, and creating without limits. Step into this truth. Step into yourself. And watch as the world begins to reflect the brilliance, strength, and beauty of the fully realized, unapologetically sovereign person you have always been meant to be.